Takadosh Boker Or Shavua Tov Sanhedrin Masechet Sanhedrin Daf Yomi Daf Pei Bet Amud Aleph 8281. We're starting on the last line of Pei Aleph Amud Bet 81b, the last line where it says Haboel Aramit. If somebody has relations with a Goya, so if somebody has relations with a Goya, we said Kanaim Pogimbo. Kanaim Pogimbo means that the Kanaim will come and they could kill him on the spot, and that's exactly what happened with Pinchas and Zimri ben Salu. Ba'mine Rav Kahana Merav. Rav Kahana comes and he asks the question of Rav. Now we're studying Pei Bet on the top. Lo pagbu kanaim. What happens though if there was a kanaim that they didn't come and they didn't kill him on the spot? Ma'u what's halacha? Meaning he just went with a goya. We know that the halacha of going with a goya is that you kill him, because that's what happened with Pinchas. Pinchas just went and he killed him
before he finishes. If he's finished, you can't kill him.
Yes, 100% when he's in the middle of the act. So now what happens though is that what happens if they did not kill him? What's the halacha? In shi'eh rav ligmare. So Rav forgot that which he learned from his rabbi, so he didn't know what to answer. So they called Rav Kahana in a Shalom, right, where it says, Bageda Yehuda, Yehuda was rebellious, right, like Begida, right, Boged, and there was an abomination. Yeah, there was an abomination, yeah, that what? In Israel and Yerushalayim. What does that mean, right? Which means that there was abomination done in Yisrael and Sham because they did such a thing, right? That they went with a goya. Because again, there was a desecration of Yehuda with Kodesh Hashem, which he loved, and he had relations with a non-Jewish woman. Yeah. Ata Elmaleh. So he comes and he tells him, this is the pasuk that they told me. So then he remembered, meaning when he went and he told him the pasuk, he remembered the halacha. And he said, this is what I learned. Bagda Yehuda is avodah kochavim. When it says he was rebellious, this is avodah zarah. That's what it said in the pasuk. V'chem yigatem bi bet Yisrael u'Mashem. V'toevan asab Yisrael u'Yerushalayim ze mishkav zachor. What are the abominations? Homosexuality. Those are the abominations. V'chen omer v'zachar lo tzrikim shkvei isha toevahi. It's an abomination. Ki chilel Yehuda kodesh Hashem. Right? Chilul, what is that? Isha zona v'chalala zona. Lechen omer, lo tiye kedesham, v'lo tisev lo yikadesh, v'nei yisrael. U'ba'al bet ha'nechar, ze ha'ba'al ha'kutrit. Uchtiv batre, so it's written immediately afterwards. Yachret Adonai la'ish asher esena er ve'ona me'olei Yaakov u'magish mincha la'Hashem tzevakot. What does that mean? He's going to have karet. What is the karet? Im tamid chacham lo yeh lo er b'chachamim ve'ona b'talmidim. If he's a tamid chacham, he will not have good students. He will be able to come and to answer well. Right, or to fitting for answering questions. He won't have a child that will be able to come and to this. So from this we learn that if somebody comes, right, and this is the punishment if he's going to go with a goya, but he will not. So this is why, by the way, it's b'divrei kabbalah shu bekaret. That's what's brought down in Shulchan Aruch, by the way. Shulchan Aruch brings down that he gets karet. So I mean, somebody that goes with a goya, karet.
Is this a Rami or a Pussy?
Okay. So Amar Rav Chia bar Avuya says Rav Chia bar Avuya, Kol ha'ba'al kutit, kilu mitchatem b'avodat kochavim. Anybody that's going to have relations with a kutit, it's like he's getting married to avodah zarah. Tichtivu ba'al bat necha v'chvi bat yesh le'lechad. He says what? Do the gods have a daughter? Ela ze ha'ba'al kutit. There's somebody that's going to get married to a kutit, because when you come and you get married to a goya, what happens is you start clinging to their gods. Says it's written on the Gulgolet of Yoyakim the king, okay, because basically he was one of the last kings of Yehuda, so he did very bad in the eyes of Hashem, right? So he says, just like Yirmiyahu Navi was coming and reading the entire thing against him. So it says Zot ve'od acheret. What does it mean that it says over there Zot and something else also? So he says, what does that mean? That he's going to be punished double. Okay, so Zekenod Rabbi Peida, Ashka Chau Gulgalta Daveshadi B'Shar Yerushalayim. So the Zaken of Rabbi Peida, he found a skull that was in the gates of Yerushalayim. It was written Zot ve'od acheret. So Kavre v'adal Navug. So he buried it, and then it came up again. So imagine he buried the skull, and again it came up again. The Kavra again he buried it, and again it came back up again. Amar, he said, very interesting. He says Hai Gulgalta Shel Yoyakim. This has to be the Gulgolet of Yoyakim. Why? It's written by the Gulgolet of Yoyakim, Kevurat Chamor Yikaver Sechov Ve'ashlech Me'hala L'Sharei Yerushalayim. which means just like you have the chamor, which you don't bury a chamor, but you throw it into the ashpa, into the garbage bin. So too, the body of your yakim is always going to be thrown around in Yerushalayim. Okay, so he says Amar Malkahu. He says, yeah, but at the end of the day, he's a king, so it's not derech eretz for a king like this. So Shakla Karachag Yishirai Ve'otve B'Sifta. So when he wrapped it up, right, and he put it in a box. Atay Devitu Chazite. So the wife comes, she sees it. Nafka Amra she comes and she take it out. She says, look what happened. Amri La, they told her, hi, yeah, exactly. This is his wife. What's going on? Right? He can't forget about her.
Oh my God.
So she threw it into the fire and she burnt it. Yeah, she burnt it.
This and still another.
Yeah, this is still another. So he says, Kiyata, when Rabbi came to his house and he found out, that's what it means, that he was punished twice. Because first he was thrown into the gates of Yerushalayim, and then afterwards he was burnt to ashes. So that was, so imagine, right? But you come and you tell a woman that this is the first wife that you can't forget about it. Fine. Kiyata Ravdimi, when Ravdimi came, right, from Eretz Yisrael Bavel Amar, he said, Bet ino shel Chashmonai gazru, abal hakuti chayav alea mishum nashga. So do you know that the Bet Chashmonaim, they made a decree that if somebody comes and he has relations with a kutit, he's going to be punished for nashga. What is nashga? Nida, shivcha, goya, eshetish. Yeah? That means even though midin Torah, there's no Yisur Torah only for, there's no nida other than a Jew, but the Chachamim said that also kutit has nida. So therefore, why? Because they wanted to make sure that there was tum'ah. So therefore, that's nida. Shivcha, obviously a regular Jew is not allowed to get married to a maidservant, a shivcha kananit. But it says, Lo yekadesh Yisrael. So since the child that's going to be born is going to be a shivcha, right, or an eved, whichever one it was, so therefore you also have this halacha also as well. So there's the sort of shivcha. The goya, obviously we know that it's going to be that she's going to take him off of a stray. So there's the sort of a goya, and even a shetish, which means that we don't judge the kiddushin of the goyim, because there's no Yishut only for Yisrael, so therefore there's not going to be any Isur of Eshetish, but here we do say that there's going to be an Isur of Eshetish as well. So therefore basically they came and they made these decrees in order to stop, right, with having the relations with the Goya. Which is Nida Shivcha Goya Zona, not because of Eshetish, because she's not really a married woman, but because of Zona, meaning she becomes a Zona, and therefore, right, if he's a Kohen, he just went with the Zona. Val Mishum Yishut, let you. But because of Yishut, which is basically because of the Yisur of Eshetish, right? We said because it's not going to be why, because there's no Yishut for them. The Yidach, but the other one, he says, no, they're not going to be mafkir their wives. Meaning, even for them, it is considered like an Eshetish, because even by the goy, they don't want that their wives are going to be sleeping around. Yeah, but sleeping around with other people. So Amarav Chasta says to Chasta, Habali Malech Emorino. Do you know that this halacha Kanaim Pogimbo is only if he comes and he kills them on the spot? But if he comes to ask you what's halacha, you're not allowed to tell him that.
Right.
Meaning, if the guy comes to you, he says, Rabbi, I know that this guy over here, like this Jew over here, he's going with a goya. Can I kill him? So once he asks the question, you're not allowed to kill him. The answer is no. But if he doesn't ask the question, go kill him. Yeah, you know that he's going and sleeping with a goya, go kill him. Yeah, that's what it is. But if you already asked the question, now you're not allowed to. Itmar Nami was also stated in Rabbi Yochanan, Bali Malech, if you come to ask, and Morinlo, the Lord, and only that. Elashim Piresh Simri Varago Pinchas. Right? This is what we were talking about. Right? I think Richard, you asked the question. If right now Zimri separated, meaning he's right now not having the relations. He had relations with her, and then he stopped and he separated. And now Pinchas came and he killed him. Neragalav, he would have been killed in Bedouin. Right? Nepach Simri, more than that. If he turned around, right, Vargola Pinchas, and he killed Pinchas, and then, right, he's not going to be killed. Yeah, why? Because he's a Rodef. So Vayomer Moshe Shoftei Yisrael, says Moshe to Shoftei Yisrael, Halach Shiftot Shel Shimon Atzel Zimri Min Salu. You know the Shevet al Shimon, they went to Zimri Min Salu. V'amrulu, and they told him, Hem Danin Dinei Fashov Atal Yoshev Shotek. He says, I don't understand. They're coming and they're killing all these people because of Bal Peor, and you're keeping quiet. What's going on? You're the Messiah Shevet. Masa, what did he do? He took 24,000. He went to Kozbi. Amarla, he told her, Ishmili, listen to me, Tavznut. Amralo, she told him, Bat Melechani. What? I'm a princess. Right? Lo tishmi gadol behem. He says, don't listen only to the greatest of them. Amarla, he says, Afu, Nasisha, I'm a prince of a tribe. The Lord, and not only that, Shu gadol mimenu shehu, sheni lebetem vehu shlishi. He says, I'm even greater than Moshe Rabbeinu. Because Moshe Rabbeinu is going to be the Shani Lebetin, the Shlishi Lebetin, and I'm Shani Lebetin. Meaning like I'm the second oldest and he's the third oldest. Because remember, you had Miriam, Aaron, and the Moshe. So he was the second oldest. So he grabbed her by her hair and he brought her to Moshe. And he told him, Ben Amram, Zu Asura Muteret. Is she permitted or prohibited? If you're going to tell me she's prohibited, Batitro mi itira lecha. Who permitted you to get married to Batitro? Meaning, why are you allowed to get married to Batitro, that she's the Goya, and now I'm going to be prohibited to get married?
Not a bad question.
It's not a bad question. He forgot halacha. He forgot halacha. The boy karim pogimo. So what happened? Everyone started crying because they didn't know what was going on. That's what it says. They started crying by the entrance of Oziel. What happens? And it says, Vayar Pinchas v'Elazar. So Pinchas v'Elazar, he saw. What did he saw? Mara'ah. Amar Rav said, Rama Asev v'Nizkar halacha. He saw the case and then he remembered the halacha.
Comprehended.
Amar lo, he went and he said, Achi avi Abba. He went and he told Moshe Rabbeinu, didn't you teach us? When you came down from Har Sinai, Amar lo, he went and he said, he says, the one that's reading the Yigeret should be the Shaliach to be Mvatzea, to take, how do you say, the one that's reading the order is the one that should exact or be the agent to do the order. So right, Shmuel says, which means that another explanation is that he didn't even ask Moshe. He went right away to do it. Why? Because when there's going to be a Chilul Hashem, you don't have time to start asking your rabbi this, that, right away. He just went and he killed him. Right? A third, the name of Elazar, he saw the malach coming and killing the people, so therefore he went, right, and he did it right away. So he got up from the congregation and he took a spear. I think it's called in English a spear, no?
Yep.
He took a spear in his hand. So now you're not allowed to go in Klezai to the Bet Midrash. Why? Right? Because the fact that he was in the Sanhedrin. So therefore, that's why he took a Romach Biado in order to kill the Zimri. He says, why is it? Because it's mashma that he didn't have a Romach. He had to actually go and take the Romach. Why? Because when you're in the Sanhedrin, you cannot go with weapons into the Sanhedrin. What happened? Shalav Shenana, he took off the barzel of it, right? He put it inside of his clothing. Right? He was going and he was using it as a stick, as a cane. Right? Says what? Since when do we see that Shimon is greater than Levi? Amrulo, they said, what does that mean? He says he also wanted to do the Avirah. Meaning he gave them the impression that he also wanted to enjoy himself. So they went there. He also is coming there. What happened? Nichnas, he comes in, he tiru plushinet at the davar. And then what did he do? Right? If they saw that he wanted, so then he said, so you're allowed to. And then what happened was that once he went in, he put on the spear on top of the cane of the wood, and then he killed him. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says of Yochanan, Shisha nisim nasul Pinchas. Okay, so here it says 6, by the way. Even though Yonatan Oziel brings down there could be even there was 12, there's a difference of opinions. How many miracles happened to Pinchas at that moment? So here we're going to learn the Gemara. The Gemara on Pei Bet Ubet, right? 82b says that there was 6 miracles happened to Pinchas. One of them, Zimri should have separated immediately. He didn't. Yeah, another one, Nes Sheni, Shayelu Ledaber. He should have screamed. Imagine, he turns around, right? He sees that this guy's coming in to kill him. Scream! He didn't scream. Third miracle, when he killed them, he stuck in the spear in the private part of the male organ and the female organ, right? In order to see that they were connected to each other. Ve'echad, another one, right? The fourth one, when he went and he killed them, they didn't separate from the spear. Ve'echad, another one, the fifth one, so he took them out and he was carrying both of them on the spear. Now, when you're taking 2 people that are lying down, right, and you're going to put them through the door better be very, very high. Because if you're already this height and you're like this, so the mashkof, the top part of the door, raised in order to go out. The echad in the 6th one, the malach came and he started being mashchit ba'am, right, in order that they shouldn't kill Pinchas. Because if they realized what was going on, they're going to kill Pinchas right away. They didn't kill Pinchas. That was his. Baba Chavtan, he went and he threw them on the ground. And he said, Ribono shel olam, al elu yiplu 24,000 מישראל. He said, because of these two people, you're going to have 24,000 Jews that are going to die. That's what it means. What does it mean? He stood up and he stopped the Magifa. It doesn't say that he prayed. Vayfalel is like to fight. He started fighting ki'ilu, right, against when he started fighting against Hashem ki'ilu. That he went and he put a negef, he put a plague amongst when he said so ki'ilu vayfalel. He made a fight, right? So so they wanted to come and they wanted to push Pinchas. Why? Because it's like chutzpah. Why? How do you? It's a chutzpah. How are you speaking to Hashem like that? He says, says that leave him. Why? Kanai ben Kanai. He's a Kanai ben Kanai. Why? He's just like Ben Levi ben Yaakov. Remember that the children of Levi, they were the children of Yaakov Avinu, and obviously Aaron Cohen comes from Shevet Levi, and obviously then Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron comes from Levi. They were Kanaim because remember that when Shechem comes and he violated Dinah, their sister, it was Shimon and Levi that they came in and they killed out the entire city because they were Kanaim, right? So therefore, that's what he's saying over here. They were Kanaim. So he says, leave him. He's a Kanai ben Kanai. Meshiv Chema ben Meshiv Chema. But he's not only Kanai. He's actually being a Meshiv Chema ben Meshiv Chema. Remember when Korach brought the Ketoret, what happened is that he appeased, right? The Aaron Cohen brought the Ketoret, so he appeased the Kadosh Baruch Hu, so that way he wouldn't kill out all of Bnei Israel and he stopped the plague. That's what happened by Korach. So what happened he says, this Pinchas is a person that's appeasing, which means that he's also doing the same thing, right? He's the son of the son here. Okay? So what happened so the Shvatim, they came and they started disgracing him. Said, did you see this Ben Puti that he went and he was his father, his grandfather, the father of the mother, was doing a galim lavodat zara. That's why the Katuv comes and was miyaches oto. What does that mean? Yitro was Avi Imo shel Pinchas, right? Because it says, "Velazar ben Aaron lakoch lo mibno Putiel lo lishav Pinchas." So Putiel is Yitro. So therefore, basically, he went and he got married to the daughters of Yitro, right? From Benot Putiel. So the question now is, if he just got married to the, so they went and said, look, Yitro, he was doing avodah zarah. So look at this guy. This guy, he comes and his grandfather was doing avodah zarah. Now he's going to come and he's going to kill a prince of Israel. Who does he think he is? Who's this Joe Shmo over here? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes and he says, Pinchas v'Elazar ben Cohen, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, Hadem lo shalom, give him shalom. Right? Ben Israel, shalom. And this kapara, exactly. So therefore, it's going to be for him forever. Amarav Nachman Amarav says Nachman Rav Madikli was means pasuk. Zarzid motonai otaish umelech alkum imo 424 beilot baal oto rasha beoto hayom המתין לו פנחס עד שתשש כוחו והוא אינו יודע שמלך alkum imo. What does that mean? It says over there that Zimri had 424 beilot. 424 relations.
The Gemara says it doesn't always
424
doesn't necessarily mean it just means a bunch.
Exactly. Yeah. 1 second.
More than the average guy. More than normal.
Yeah.
For my roster.
Right. Rashi, look at the footnote number 10. Yeah. Barur shemispaz zeu guzma. But he says, but there's nothing of Stam Devarim Betanim. Obviously, there's a Limud Gadol. Obviously, there's something very, you have to understand what it is. Because of him, you had 24,000 people. So therefore, they understood that it wasn't a regular punishment. So therefore, they said, obviously, it was because of full of Znut. So obviously, there had to be something, over here that happened. Right? Fine. Anyway, you have to understand that many times, even though the Bilot, right, maybe we understand the Bilot means that how many times of relations. Maybe it's thrusting. Maybe it's going in and out.
Who says that?
I just said that.
You're sure?
Yes.
Interesting. You don't do that much.
Nice. It's nice, no?
Yes.
Maybe that's explanation.
Doesn't do it much. You pay attention around here?
Yeah.
He has to come up with his own chat.
Vimtin.
You know where I go? The cola. Play people are obsessed with it. It's not really my cup of tea.
I usually Vimtin lo Pinchas. So Pinchas waited. Why did he wait purposely? Shitashash kocho. Because remember that the more the person has relations, the more that he becomes weak. Remember the pasuk in Mishle says, "Al titel lanashim chelecha." Don't give the women your valor, your strength, because when a person comes and he does too much relations, he's giving his strength to the women. So therefore he had strength. Now he's not strong anymore. That's why the only one that was very, very powerful that didn't have this problem was Shimshon. Because Shimshon Gibor, right? He was able to have relations as much as he wanted and he never became weak. That's why even the day that he died, they went and they gave him all the wives of the Pelishtim in order to have relations with him, because they all wanted to have very strong children, right? And this is all because he was a person. He was just able to continue going, and as if kilu shum davar lo kala, as if nothing happened. Okay, but he didn't know. Pinchas didn't know shemelech halkum, that Kadosh Baruch Hu is kel nekamot, right? And therefore he didn't have to even wait. Meaning he waited purposely, so when he's weakened, he didn't have to wait. Kadosh Baruch Hu was with him. V'matnita tana, right? Pei betam ubet. Yeah, for those that just came back. V'matnita tana. Yeah, he says over here, shishim. It says here that he actually had 60 times. Until his shikvat zera became, right, like a beitza, like a full egg, right? It says over here in the footnote, right? Okay, there's a Gemara Nida. There it sounds that the shikvat zera of Zimri became it became already like water. It became much like very watery instead of very thick, right? It was very watery. And she was like full of shikvat zera, right? So he says, Amar of Kahana, says of Kahana, right? Umoshava ya bet seah.
1,000 square yards.
Yeah.
Is we talking about her backside?
No, she was very, very, how do you call it? She's very wide. That's very right? Some people say it was full of water like a shikvat zera.
So that's the other one. Yeah, now we're talking about her backside. All right.
Amar Rav Sheshat, says Rav Sheshat, lo Kozbi Shema. Her name was not Kozbi. Ela Shvilnai Batsur Shema. Her name was Shvilnai. But so why was she called Kozbi? Because what happened was that she went against her father because she was only permitted to go with Moshe. But then she went with the Nasi Shevet. Tavaracher, another one, so therefore she was Kozev. Kozev is like to abandon. Right? So he says Kozbi, Shamra Leavia, right? Kosbi Amzeh. Right? Which means Schot al Yadi Amzeh, which means that through the Znut, look how much I went and I destroyed of Israel. Meaning that through me, they went and they destroyed so many of Israel. And that's what it says. Ben Kanel Urbani Shvilni Mibaya. He says, what does Shvilna want Ben Kanim? Between the Atzei Arava. He says, it's a place of Yichud. Ba'de Klife de Kai Shvilni Mibaya. He says, whatever Shvilni wants, so the Klifota Kanim is a place of Yichud. So obviously she went to do Znut. Gafta Lima. So Inifa Shemima, which means that she put out the kilu that her mother was also a zona and everything. So because of that, right, she also did the same thing. That's why they say it's a zona but zona. They say it's like a harlot, the daughter of a harlot. Why do you say such a thing? Because that's exactly what happens. Okay? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Chamisha Shemot Yeshlo. Do you know that he has 5 names? Zimri, Ben Salu, Shaul, Ben Akranit, Shmuel, Ben Suri Shaddai. Right? So he says Zimri, and Shenasa Kabetza Muzeret. Zimri comes from Zamar. Zemer here is that the Shikvat Zera became like Beitza Muzeret, which is Mazar, right? Which is basically, again, that's what we said. Ben Salu, she still have not mishpachto. He caused a lot of sins on his family because they were all called Kilu, that youth. Shaul, he lent himself out to do an Avera, that Shaul. Ben Akranit, Shasama Sekran. He did an action of Canaan because they loved immorality. Umashemo, but what Bemet is the real name? Shalomiyah ben Suri Shaddai. His name was Shlomiyah ben Suri Shaddai, but this Shlomiyah ben Suri Shaddai was Zimri ben Salu. It's the same person, but this is what he did. If a Kohen comes and he goes into the Bet HaMikdash when he's going to be Tameh. So we said that what happened was the Pirchet Korah, they come, they take him out and they kill him on the spot. They break his brain open. Yeah, with the pieces of wood, yeah? They break open the brain. Okay? Well, you have to be very, very careful. They think you have to be careful. Ravacha That's Ravacha Baravuna from Shashat. When Sheshimesh V'tumah, Chayam Mitabid Shemaim, or is he also Chayam Mitabid Shemaim or not? So Elmaleh, he says to me too, we already learned it. When Sheshimesh V'tumah, they don't bring him to Betin, but rather Pirchei Kohanim, they take him out, right, outside of the Azara, and they break open his brain, right, with the gizri, with the piece of wood.
So no kairos.
If you're going to tell me that he's going to be Chayam Mitabid Shemaim, just leave him. Just leave him. Nishveke. Delik to B'dei Shamayim, that he should be killed B'dei Shamayim. Elamai, but rather, what does it mean that he's not going to be chayav? What? Is there something that he's going to be patur and we're going to come and we're going to kill him? What does that mean? So it says velo, and what? It doesn't happen. But now we already learned in our Mishnah, somebody that gets lashes twice, betting they come, they put him into the jail, and then what's going to happen is they're going to give him to eat until his stomach explodes. Then he says, I don't understand. The Torah says it's patur, and we're going to kill him. We're talking about malkut of karet, meaning that they would get karet for this malkut. The gavra bar ketala, who was really be'emet, he should be chayav mitah. So therefore, the dead man walking. So that's why we're coming and we're giving him the lashes. Veha gonev kasva says, yeah, but we learned gonev kasva is also going to be karim pogimbo, and we know gonev kasva is not that. You remember gonev kasva was he stole part of the kli sharet. Now, if he stole kli sharet, what? He's we kill him. So Amar Rav Yehuda b'kli sharet and rumiza, and we said v'lo yavo leroka v'la tekodesh v'etu v'ham kalel tekosem. Or we also said another case of mekalel tekosem, which means that he's coming karim pogimbo. There he's not chayav mitah. Their mekalel etakosem is that he's cursing out, right? But again, it's not the same thing. It looks like he's blessing in the name of Hashem, right? But really, it's an avera that he is chayav mita b'din. So says the Gemara, "V'abolet kutit." He says no. Boelet kutit is chayav karet. Meaning, in all the cases that we learned, there was a karet. So once there's a karet, so therefore, when we're going to come and we're going to kill them, it makes sense. It's not just stam; they didn't do anything. Meaning, this guy that he counts, whether it's boler or meat, he stole the klei kodesh, whatever it was. He met when this guy's coming with the goya, he's chayav to be killed. So therefore, when you come and you're allowed to go and kill him, there's no problem. So so they come and they ask the following question: Hayotzek ve'abolel ve'apotet ve'amoleach ve'amenif ve'amagish ve'mesader et hashulchan ve'metiv et hanerot. If we're talking about over here, Masechet Devachim, if somebody's going to put the oil on the mincha offering, the flour offering, or bolel, he's coming mixing the oil with the flour offering.
You got way ahead.
Right? Ve'apotet. Where are you, Richard?
All right.
Yeah? One more time. Ayotzek. Ayotzek is that you're pouring the oil onto the flour offering. Bolel is you're mixing, you're kneading the oil with the flour offering. Potet. Potet is you're making it into the ptitim, which after you bake it. Vamoleach, or you're salting the korban. Hamenif, you're right. Hamenif, Hamagish, Hamenif is waving it. You're bringing it. You're putting the lechem apanim. You're setting it up. Hametivit hanerot, you're setting up the candles. The kometz. Kometz is kmitza. Remember, with your fingers that you come and you take over the flour. Hamkabelet tamim, you're going to accept the blood. Bachutz, if it's going to be outside of the zara, you're going to be patur. En chayavim alehen, right? You're not going to be chayav on them. No mishum zarut, not because of a zar, which means if he's not a kohen, he's not a stranger, he's not going to be chayav mitah. Velo mishum tumah, not because of tumah. Velo mishum mechusar begadim, if he doesn't have the clothing of the bit. Remember that a kohen does not have his clothing on of the bigdei kiuna. He's going to be also mitah b'dei shemayim. Velo mishum lechutz yadayim v'raglayim, or if he didn't do the rechitzat yadayim v'raglayim. So in all these things, hamekater chayav, he is going to be chayav if he's going to bring it as an incense. My love, are we not talking about again mitah b'dei shemayim? And so the Gemara, no, again, we're talking about an azara. Azara is that it's a warning. And that's why he's going to be chayav malkut, just like when a person comes and he's going to be over and love, but he's not chayav mitah b'dei shamayim, which means basically what we were talking about is that in all these cases, are you going